Okay, so let's say you've got this interview coming up for a probation officer position. Feeling those butterflies. Totally normal. But good news, this deep dive, it's like your secret weapon. We're going to break down exactly what to expect and how to really shine in that interview. We've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher to help us out. Career guides, interview guides, even insights into how their AI can give you a serious edge.
You know, it's fascinating about this field. It's about so much more than just monitoring people. You're really like a guide, helping people navigate their sentences, rebuild their lives, and reintegrate back into society. It's a powerful impact you can have.
Absolutely, and that's why acing this interview is key. By the end of this deep dive, you'll not only know what those interviewers are looking for, but also how to showcase your unique strengths and experiences.
And the career guide really emphasizes that. Understanding the offender's behavior, their sentence, and working towards rehabilitation. It's not just about keeping tabs, right? It's about positive change.
So let's paint the picture. What's the work environment actually like? It's not all desk duty, is it?
Right. You'll have a mix of office work and field visits. You'll be interacting with offenders, families, and all sorts of different professionals. This is a job that requires empathy, strong communication, and sharp critical thinking, especially in those crisis situations.
It's challenging.
Yeah.
But also incredibly rewarding. Speaking of challenges, let's tackle some of those common interview questions head on. RoleCatcher provides some amazing insights here.
They really do. And remember, it's not just about having the skills, it's about demonstrating them. That's where those specific examples come in, and anecdotes from your experiences.
Okay, first question. Can you describe your experience working with individuals on probation? What are you really looking for here?
They want to see your relevant experience and your understanding of the probation process. Don't just list your previous roles. Give concrete examples. Talk about a specific situation you handled, a challenge you overcame, and the positive outcome you achieved.
So instead of saying, I'm great at communication, you could say something like, in my previous role, I had a client who was resistant to supervision. I used active listening techniques to build rapport and understand their concerns, which ultimately helped them engage with the program more effectively.
Exactly. Show, don't tell. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer. It analyzes the job description and provides tailored feedback on your answers.
So if the job description emphasizes crisis intervention skills, the AI might suggest highlighting a time when you successfully de-escalated a tense situation with a client.
Precisely. It helps you tailor your answer to the specific job requirements. Okay, next question. Can you describe your approach to case management?
This one seems like it's all about organization and juggling multiple responsibilities.
It is. Think about how you prioritize tasks, stay organized, communicate effectively, and advocate for your clients. All while upholding the law, of course. They might even ask follow-up questions like, how do you handle a situation where a client is not meeting the terms of their probation?
Ooh, that's a tough one. What's the best approach there?
Honesty and focus on solutions. You could say something like, I would first try to understand the reasons behind the non-compliance. Is it lack of resources, a change in circumstances, or something else entirely? Then I'd work with the client to develop a plan of action, connecting them with support services if needed, and clearly outlining the consequences of continued non-compliance. You want to show that you can balance empathy with accountability.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Can you describe your understanding of the criminal justice system and the role of a probation officer within it?
The big picture question. Here. They want to see that you understand the goals of the criminal justice system, the challenges it faces, and how probation fits into that larger framework. It's about demonstrating your knowledge of the system's principles.
Yeah.
And your commitment to its values.
So I want to talk about the importance of rehabilitation and reintegration, the ethical considerations of probation work, and maybe even touch upon current trends in the field, like the increasing use of technology in probation.
Exactly. Show them you're engaged with the field and thinking critically about its role in society. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your answer to make sure you're covering the key points and highlighting your understanding of the system's complexities.
All right, next up. Can you describe your experience working with diverse populations? This one seems especially relevant in today's world.
It is. Here, they're looking for cultural competency. Can you work effectively with individuals from various backgrounds? Share specific examples. Have you worked with people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, cultural groups, or those who have disabilities? Talk about what you learned from those experiences.
I could even mention any specific training I've received on cultural sensitivity or diversity awareness.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your answer and suggest ways to highlight your sensitivity to cultural differences and your ability to build rapport with individuals from diverse backgrounds.
Okay, this next question is a sensitive one. Can you describe your experience working with individuals with mental health issues?
It's about demonstrating your understanding of mental health challenges and your ability to approach this population with sensitivity and compassion. Highlight any relevant training or experience you have. For example, you could describe a time when you successfully de-escalated a situation with a client who was experiencing a mental health crisis.
Or how I collaborated with mental health professionals to develop a support plan for a client.
Exactly. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can help refine your answers to ensure you're conveying your experience effectively and showcasing your sensitivity to the needs of individuals with mental health challenges.
All right, let's move on to, can you describe your approach to conflict resolution? This one seems like it could apply to so many situations in this field.
It absolutely does. They want to see you can handle tough situations calmly and professionally, de-escalate conflict, facilitate communication, and find solutions. Think about a specific conflict you resolved, the steps you took, and the outcome. They might even ask about your communication style in conflict situations, or how you handle difficult people.
So it's helpful to have a clear framework for conflict resolution in mind.
Absolutely, whether it's active listening, mediation techniques, or problem-solving strategies, showing that you have a structured approach can be a huge plus. Okay, moving on to a question that explores your empathy. Can you describe your experience working with victims of crime?
This one feels particularly weighty.
It is. It's about conveying your understanding of the trauma victim's experience and your ability to approach them with compassion and respect. Share experiences where you provided support or resources to victims. Have you worked with victim advocacy groups? Mention those. Also touch on your knowledge of victims' rights and available resources.
This is where showcasing my genuine desire to help people would really shine through, I think.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you refine your answer to ensure you're effectively conveying your experience and sensitivity to the needs of victims.
All right, let's move on to, can you describe your experience working with community-based organizations?
This one highlights the importance of community partnerships in supporting offenders. They want to see that you understand how to leverage those resources effectively. Have you worked with nonprofits, social service agencies, or other organizations that provide resources to people reintegrating into society? Talk about those collaborations and what you learned from them.
It sounds like they might ask follow-up questions about specific organizations I partnered with, the challenges and successes I encountered, or my approach to building and maintaining those relationships.
You got it. It's about demonstrating your ability to work effectively within a network of support services. Probation officers don't work in isolation. They rely on these partnerships to provide comprehensive support to their clients.
Okay, here's a question that's specifically for those interested in working with youth. Could you describe your experience working with juvenile offenders?
This is your chance to highlight any experience you have working with young people, whether it's in a mentorship role, a community program, or a previous job.
What should someone keep in mind when answering this question?
It's crucial to demonstrate your understanding of the unique challenges faced by juvenile offenders and your ability to adapt your communication and approach to meet their developmental needs. Mention any knowledge you have of juvenile justice laws and procedures.
This is where my passion for working with youth and helping them turn their lives around would really come into play.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answer to highlight those strengths and ensure you're conveying your experience effectively.
All right, on to a question that assesses your ability to handle high-pressure situations. Can you describe your approach to crisis management? This one feels pretty intense.
It is. They want to see that you can think clearly, act decisively, and maintain composure in a crisis. Think about situations where you had to manage a volatile client, respond to an emergency, or make critical decisions under pressure. Share examples of how you assessed the situation, communicated effectively, and took appropriate action to de-escalate the crisis and ensure safety.
So if I had experience working in a high-stress environment where I had to handle difficult situations, this is where I would highlight those experiences.
Exactly. And of course, RoleCatcher's AI can provide feedback on your answers, helping you refine your delivery and emphasize the key skills required for crisis management.
Wow, we just covered 10 common probation officer interview questions. And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
We have. Remember, these questions are just a starting point. You'll likely encounter variations, as well as others specific to the role or the organization. But by understanding the underlying competencies these questions assess, you'll be prepared for anything.
So how can someone prepare for those unexpected curveballs?
Think about what they're really looking for. Are they assessing your communication skills, problem-solving abilities, empathy, knowledge of the criminal justice system? By understanding those core skills and qualities, you can handle any question that comes your way.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly helpful, right?
Absolutely. By analyzing the job description and your answers, it helps you identify gaps in your preparation and areas to focus on. It's like having a personalized interview coach.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still more to explore. In our next segment, we'll dive into specialized interview questions that might come up, based on the specific type of probation officer role you're pursuing.
Stay tuned for more valuable insights to help you ace that interview and launch a rewarding career as a probation officer. Welcome back. So now let's delve into some of those specialized questions you might encounter, depending on the specific type of probation officer role you're interested in.
That sounds really helpful, because I bet there are nuances, depending on if you're working with juveniles versus adults, for example.
You're absolutely right. Let's say you're interested in working with juveniles. A common question might be, can you describe your understanding of the juvenile justice system and its goals?
I imagine this goes beyond simply knowing the law right.
It does. It's about showcasing your knowledge of the unique principles and approaches used when working with young offenders. You'll want to highlight your understanding of their developmental needs and how the system aims to rehabilitate rather than just punish.
So mentioning things like restorative justice, diversion programs, and the importance of family involvement would be important.
Exactly. Those are all key elements of the juvenile justice system. You want to demonstrate that you understand the emphasis on giving young people a chance to turn their lives around.
And of course, RoleCatcher's AI can be a great resource here, analyzing my answers and offering suggestions for improvement.
It absolutely can. It can help you make sure you're hitting all the key points and showcasing your understanding of the nuances of the juvenile justice system.
Okay, let's shift gears to a question that might come up in any probation officer interview. How do you handle a situation where a client is not meeting the terms of their probation? This one feels tricky because it's about balancing support with accountability.
It is. You need to demonstrate that you can take appropriate action while still maintaining a rapport with the client and encouraging their progress.
What would be considered appropriate action in this scenario?
Well, it depends on the situation, of course. But you might talk about increasing the frequency of check-ins, implementing stricter monitoring, or connecting the client with additional resources to address the underlying issues that are hindering their compliance.
And if those interventions aren't successful?
In some cases, you might need to file a violation report with the court. However, it's important to frame this as a last resort and emphasize that your primary goal is to support the client's rehabilitation.
So it's about finding that balance between enforcing the rules and helping the client succeed.
Precisely. And strong communication skills are crucial here. You need to be able to clearly explain the consequences of their actions to the client, while also expressing your belief in their ability to get back on track.
I can see how RoleCatcher's AI could be helpful here, analyzing my communication style and offering feedback on how to strike that right balance between firmness and empathy.
Exactly. The AI can help you craft responses that are clear, concise, and professional, while also conveying your commitment to supporting the client's success.
Okay, here's another challenging scenario. How would you respond to a client who is becoming increasingly agitated and potentially threatening? This one feels like it requires some serious de-escalation skills.
It absolutely does. This question is all about crisis management. They want to see that you can remain calm under pressure, assess risk, and take appropriate action to ensure safety.
What would be some effective strategies in this kind of situation?
Well, safety always comes first.
Yeah.
If you feel physically threatened, remove yourself from the situation and call for backup, if possible. Try to de-escalate the situation verbally, speak calmly and respectfully, actively listen to the client's concerns, and validate their feelings without condoning their behavior.
And if the situation continues to escalate,
You might need to implement physical restraint techniques, but this should always be a last resort, used only in accordance with your training and agency policies.
this highlights the importance of knowing your agency's protocols and procedures, like the back of your hand.
Absolutely. You need to be familiar with the legal and ethical guidelines for using force, as well as the reporting requirements for any incidents involving physical restraint.
Okay, let's shift to a question that really digs into ethical judgment. What would you do if you suspected a colleague of engaging in unethical behavior. This one feels like a real gut check.
It is, but it's crucial to demonstrate that you have a strong ethical compass and are willing to uphold professional standards even when it's difficult.
What would be the best approach in this kind of situation?
First, gather more information to confirm your suspicions. If you have concrete evidence of wrongdoing, report it to your supervisor or the appropriate ethics committee within your agency.
And if I'm not sure whether the behavior actually crosses the line?
It's always wise to consult with a trusted mentor or colleague for guidance. They can help you assess the situation and determine the appropriate course of action. Remember, protecting the integrity of the profession is everyone's responsibility.
That's a good reminder. Ethical conduct is so important in this field.
It is paramount. By upholding high ethical standards, you contribute to the credibility and effectiveness of the entire system.
Okay, here's a question that really tests your knowledge of the field. What are some of the biggest challenges facing the probation system today?
This is your chance to showcase your understanding of the current trends and issues impacting the field. You might talk about things like high caseloads, limited resources, recidivism rates, or the impact of societal factors like poverty and substance abuse on probation outcomes.
It sounds like it's not enough to just list problems. I need to show that I'm thinking critically about potential solutions.
Exactly. You might mention specific initiatives or programs being implemented to address these challenges, or even offer your own insights on how to improve the system. Demonstrate that you're engaged with the field and committed to ongoing professional development.
So staying up to date on industry research and best practices is crucial.
Absolutely. You want to show that you're not just looking for a job, you're looking to make a real difference in this field.
Okay, last question for this segment. What are your long-term career goals within the field of probation?
This question is all about showcasing your ambition and vision for your future. Have you considered specializing in a particular area, like juvenile probation or mental health? Do you aspire to take on a supervisory or leadership role?
What if I'm not entirely sure about my long-term plans yet?
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You can simply express your enthusiasm for the field and your desire to continue learning and growing within it. Mention specific areas you're interested in exploring further, or skills you'd like to develop. The key is to demonstrate that you're motivated and invested in your career development.
So even if I don't have a concrete 5-year plan, I can still show them that I'm eager to learn and grow in this role.
Exactly. By expressing that eagerness, you showcase your potential as a valuable asset to the organization.
This has been a fantastic deep dive into specialized probation officer interview questions. I feel much more prepared to tackle those tough scenarios.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools can provide personalized feedback and insights to help you further refine your answers and boost your confidence.
But the learning doesn't stop there. In our final segment, we'll explore additional resources and strategies to help you truly ace that interview and launch a rewarding career as a probation officer.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So we've covered a ton of ground on those interview questions, from the general to the very specific. But beyond practicing those answers, what else can someone do to really make a great impression?
Well, researching the organization you're interviewing with is crucial. Dig into their mission, their values, the specific programs they offer. It shows you're genuinely interested in their work, not just any probation officer job.
Yeah, it's like going the extra mile to understand their needs and how you fit into their picture.
Exactly. And speaking of showing initiative, prepare some thoughtful questions for the interviewers. This shows curiosity and that you've been thinking critically about the role.
What kind of questions would really impress them?
You could ask about their approach to professional development, growth opportunities within the agency, or even specific challenges they're facing, and how you might contribute to solutions.
Oh, and I remember RoleCatcher's career guide had some insights on career paths and advancement within the field. I could use that to frame some questions too.
That's a great connection to make. It shows you're thinking long-term about your career in probation. Also, don't forget to connect your own strengths to their needs. Did you successfully implement a program in a past role? Have a unique skill set that could benefit their team? Be ready to highlight those points.
So it's all about showing them how my experience intersects with what they're looking for.
Yeah, precisely. And finally, never underestimate first impressions. Dress professionally. Be on time. Be enthusiastic and engaged. You're not just showcasing skills. You're presenting yourself as someone they want to work with.
It's that combination of confidence, professionalism, and genuine passion for the work that really makes an impact.
Well said. And remember, Even if you don't land this particular job, each interview is a learning experience. Reflect on what went well, what could be improved, and how to refine your skills for the future.
It's a journey, not a destination. And tools like RoleCatcher can help navigate that path.
This deep dive has given you a solid foundation, understanding the role, mastering those tough questions, and even thinking about long-term growth. Hopefully you're feeling prepared and empowered.
You have valuable skills to offer, and the impact you can make on people's lives is immense. Go out there, showcase your passion, and show them what you've got.
And don't forget those free RoleCatcher resources. Their AI tools can give you a real edge, helping you stand out from the competition.
We're here to support you every step of the way. Good luck. And remember, we're always here for you, one deep dive at a time.